So, good morning. So, let's go now to Module 6. Okay, the classification process. So, first slide. Let's go now to classification board. Every prison shall have a classification board that shall be inmates in accordance with this chapter. The board shall be composed of the following. First, we have the so-called chairman o yung tinatawag nating superintendent. Vice chairman, yan yung chief of RDC. Meron din silang vice chairman sa medical officer, ganun din sa chief education section, and also chief agro or agri-industry section. Sa secretary naman, chief of overseer. So, yan yung classification board, okay, sa prison and also sa RDC. Next, classification. The assigning or grouping of inmates according to their sentence, gender, age, nationality, health, criminal records, and dangerousness, and etc. So, ang classification, ganyan nila ginagawa. Na-classify nila ang isang inmate base, okay, kung anong sentence nila, kung ano yung sentensya nila, kung ano yung penalty nila, gender, age, nationality, kung ano yung kondisyon ng kalusugan nila, criminal records, and also kung gaano siya ka-dangerous. Doon sila nagbe-base para ma-classify nila ang isang inmate. 4 separate but coordinated procedures of classification. First, we have the diagnosis. Diagnosis, the prisoner's case history is taken and his personality is studied. Through examination and observations, the RDC's staff determines the nature and extent of the person's criminality and the extent to which he may be rehabilitated. Okay, dito sa diagnosis natin, okay, dito na yun pumapasok yung sa examination, physical, psychiatric, psychology, para ma-determine nila kung ano yung nature and also the extent of that person's criminality. Okay? And also para malaman nila kung ano yung klaseng rehabilitation ang ibibigay sa kanya. Next, we have the treatment planning. This is the formulation of a tentative treatment program best suited to the needs and interests of an individual prisoner. Based on the findings of the RDC staff. Okay? So, dito sa treatment planning, tentative treatment program pa lang. Okay? Yung parang nakikinita nila kung ano ba yung best or suited doon sa individual prison na yon. Kasi yun yung nakita nila o yun yung findings ng RDC staff. So, yun ang ibibigay nila. But, tentative pa lang. Okay, hindi po siya permanent. Okay, tentative pa lang. Next, execution of treatment program. This is in the application of the treatment program and policies by the classification committee. Okay? So, dito naman sa execution of treatment program, dito na nila ila-apply yung treatment na gagawin nila o yung program na gagawin nila doon sa committee, and also kailangan din nilang mag-classify ng committee. Okay? Para mabantayan at makita yung inmate na yon. Masubaybayan. Next, we have the reclassification. The treatment program is kept current with the inmates' changing needs and with new analysis based on any information not available at the time of the initial classification. Committee meeting of the inmate case which continues from time of the first classification until the inmate's release. So, meron din silang reclassification. Okay, i-reclassify nila yung inmate na yon. Based doon sa finding na nakikita nila habang ginagawa nila yung treatment noon na inakala nila na suited sa kanya. And ngayon na nag-iiba siya, nag-change siya, so kailangan din nilang baguhin yung treatment na ginagawa din sa kanya. So they need to reclassify the inmates. Yan ang tinatawag nating reclassification. So, kagaya ng sabi ko, 4 yan. Okay, we have the diagnosis. Next, we have the treatment planning. Next, we have the execution of treatment program. And last, we have the reclassification. So, yan yung 4. Okay? 4 separate but coordinated procedures of classification. Next, purpose of classification. Ano nga ba yung purpose nung kung bakit nila kailangang i-classify yung mga inmate? First, to separate prisoners whom by reason of their criminal record or bad character are likely to exercise a bad influence onto other prisoners. Kailangan nilang i-separate yung prisoners, okay, para hindi na ma-impluwensyahan pa yung iba. For example, yung isang prisoner is may mga gawain, and then yung isa gusto na talagang magbago. Ayaw na nilang ma-impluwensyahan pa yung gusto ng magbago. So, kinakailangan nilang i-separate yung mga prisoners na yon. Next, to separate prisoners who by the gravity of their offenses have been sentenced to a longer period of imprisonment and therefore require more secured prison facilities. Next, to divide the prisoners into classes in order to facilitate their rehabilitative treatment. Doon sa pangalawa, kailangan nilang i-separate ang prisoners based doon sa gravity ng offense and kung gaano kahaba, okay, yung period ng pagkakakulong nila. Okay? Kasi kung mas mahaba at mas grabe yung ginawa nilang offense, syempre, doon sila ilalagay sa mas secured or yung mas maraming bantay. Next, to divide the prisoners into classes in order to facilitate their rehabilitative treatment. Kailangan din nilang i-divide or i-separate ulit yung mga prisoners na yon para, okay, ma-facilitate nila yung need nila or kinakailangan nilang gawin or treatment doon sa mga prisoners na yon. Next, RDC is a prison facility within a correctional institution. Kagaya ng sabi ko, nasa loob yan ng correctional institution. It receives all newly committed prisoners and it is the entry point. Yan yung una nilang pupuntahan of all incoming prisoners who will be subjected to classification and distribution to different operating institution. So, yan yung pinaka-entry point ng lahat o ng mga newly committed prisoners. Diyan sila lahat unang pupunta. So, our module 6, okay, hindi siya gaanong mahaba. So, diyan, dito nagtatapos yung discussion for module 6. So, thank you and God bless.